Yeah, no, we'll do Jesse on Fire. Jesse on Fire. Do you know him? Have you heard of him? Jesse on Fire. He's not really on fire. That's just his name. He's a YouTuber, really big YouTuber, growing really fast, frankly. But he's not. He's not actually on fire. But his pants might be. His pants might be. It's not great, really. No, Jesse on Fire. I do like him. He's done a lot of good work towards the Charlie Kirk investigation. But he is an example of something that I've seen lately that I'm not crazy about, to be quite honest with you. And that is insinuating, that's for later, you'll see, that that is insinuating that Charlie Kirk is alive. Now, these people, Jesse on Fire included, are the same people that say things like, they give the highest praise of Charlie Kirk and his Christianity and his honesty, and he was the nice guy, and, you know, they suck, they suck his dick for how moral of a person he was and how honest of a person he was, and that's warranted. Charlie was exceptionally, crazily, like he was like, I never knew the man, but how many people, he's been a public figure since he was like 17, and the man hasn't had like a single weird scandal. Like, there's thousands and thousands of hours of footage of this man, and yeah, he said a couple off-color things that could be interpreted wrong, out of context, if you don't look at the stuff before and after it. But that's about it. That's like all they have. That's all they have. He's like one of the most squeaky clean people on earth. When asked how he wanted to be remembered after he's gone, which is understandable. That's not like, people pointed that out as suspicious, that somebody would do that in an interview. That's not that suspicious. It's just saying, what kind of legacy do you want to leave on this? You're a big guy. You make a big splash. What kind of splash do you want to leave behind? And what do you want people to say about you? That's basically what it is. That's a reasonable question for somebody that huge and that influential. But when asked that question, he said, I want to be known as somebody who was courageous in his faith. I'm pretty sure that was his exact words. And dishonesty was something that he abhorred it. I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to show you some of what Jesse does. I like Jesse. Let me be clear about that. Jesse, he's never going to see this. But Jesse, if you see this, I like you, dude. But I don't know why you're doing this. You are a smart guy. But I think you're arguing this because you kind of want to, dude. Honestly. I think you argued yourself into it in your own head, and I think it would be just as easy for you, and if you're being completely honest with yourself, probable that you would argue yourself out of it if you look at it. I'm going to try and find all the best parts of this that I have a problem with, and I don't know if it's going to have like the peaks and valleys, because this is one of those, you have to hit the yes, I'm over 18 thing like twice just to watch the video on YouTube. So let's see. This is part 2 of his I Think Charlie Kirk is Alive series, wherein he explains the how. I don't really remember what he says in the first one, and the third one came out today, and I have not watched it yet, and I'm not going to do that to you. We're not going to do something. We're not going to do live reactions today. It never works out. Let's go.
We're going to have to look at the actual incident itself a couple of times. So if you're super sensitive to that stuff, this is from another angle that has a lot to do with what we're talking about.
This is the battery for the DJI Mic 2 transmitter that was underneath Charlie's shirt. This is an 8-gram, 300 mAh battery that's unique in that it's very easy to swap. A 2-gram charge of PETN would match the power of a 30-06 and leave 75% of the battery functional, undetected.
Now that is Jimmy Dore, which, he's from California. Jesse on Fire, he's from California. So I'll give him a pass for enjoying Jimmy Dore. But, and by the way, that's what I think happened. I think it was a shape charge as illustrated by John Bray, who is still doing his own research, which I can't wait to see the results of.
Detectable. That's what he's saying. This is what he's saying. You can see the shock wave travel from the DJI mic outward. His neck and ears quake with the force, and his earpiece flies up as his body is slightly lifted from the explosion.
Okay, so I should outline what Jesse on Fire is saying here and what his argument is. his argument, and he was on board, basically. I think he was on board when the shaped charge theory was brought to us by John Bray by way of Trigger Smart in a two series of live streams. They're like 3.5 hours each, where it's just, holy shit, watch those. Watch those on Trigger Smart's channel with John Bray and tell me you're not convinced. I haven't. Jesus Christ, I got heartburn today. I do, I think, at least 2 episodes where I kind of break it down and kind of distill it a little bit for you. They're easy to find on my channel. But that's what I think happened. I think a shape charge was supposed to put a hole in Charlie's chest, and instead it rocketed part of the mic pack into his neck. That's why there's no exit wound. That's why we have the investigation, because that wasn't supposed to happen. It was supposed to open a hole in his chest, and you'd see all the blood on his white shirt. By the way, somebody pointed out, I cannot remember. I try to give credit to everybody where credit is due. I cannot for the life of me remember who pointed this out, but they pointed out that Charlie never wore white shirts to these events. He only ever wore black shirts. And you can go back and look and find as many events as you want where there's pictures or video of Charlie Kirk. He's always wearing a black shirt. That's like the first time in his entire career that he wore a white t-shirt to one of these things. And I'm sure somebody designed it maybe behind his back, and they're like, oh, no, you got to wear it. It's the new shirt. We're selling it on the website. Put it on his fucking shit, and then it's perfect because you can't see blood on a black t-shirt, but it's so much more impactful on a white t-shirt that says freedom, isn't it? That's quite a fucking image, isn't it? They would have that in the Smithsonian, you know? But they fucked up. It was at an angle it wasn't supposed to be at, and it shot a battery pack into his neck. And then they had to explain shit that they weren't prepared to explain on the fly. And they fucked up left and right. And now nobody believes anything about that. So what my man Jesse here is arguing is that Charlie Kirk did not die. Charlie Kirk faked his death. And he did it through the use of prosthetics and movie magic. And like, he's claiming there was like a mattress down there that he fell on. And they weren't getting parts of the mic away or whatever the fuck they were handing off to each other. No, that's not what they were doing. They were taking the blood pack and the mechanism and the pump or whatever, and then carrying Charlie away. That's why they're smiling, because it's all a big joke. Charlie is passing away, so to speak, out of existence. And that's why we see the weird acting from everybody involved with TPUSA, all the weird shit they do, all the lies, all the explanations when they're called out on the lies, and then it's just another lie. He's saying that explains, that Charlie Kirk being alive explains all of those people's behavior. And I'll have to let him cook for a little bit so he can articulate that. But like, I want to spend a little bit of time on this because it's something that I see growing. I saw, what's his name? Lionel talking about it the other day. And he's like a really smart, he used to be a lawyer. He's like a really, really smart, articulate guy. And he was talking about it. And I can't, something in my heart says like, it's just not that. One is because Charlie Kirk, one of his top values was honesty. And he talked about that all the fucking time. Honesty. And to fake his death would mean he would be lying to 7 point whatever billion people on Earth. He'd be lying to all his followers, every Christian. Like, it's just not a Charlie thing to do. It's just not. And his entire family would have to be in on it. And everybody who worked with him, not all the people at Turning Point, of course, but everybody close to him, the Andrew Colvetts, the Ericas, the Dan Floods. Because I think they're going to kill me tomorrow. You think he planted those texts, dude? Like, because that's basically, that has to be what it is if you're saying that Charlie Kirk faked his death. And he's saying that, motive for that thing was all the fucky tax situation and all of the all of the weird money things and how they were going to get caught and, doing political stuff with a 501c3 organization and all of this shit that they could get in a lot of trouble for. And he thinks that basically Charlie died for Turning Point's sins. Maybe he floats, I think, that Charlie could have been corrupt, but he probably wasn't. And he maybe just found out about that stuff or was going to find out about that stuff with the Doge audit. And so he piled all of those sins upon himself and then died for Turning Point's sins voluntarily. And then they get all their Israel money back. But one problem I have with that right off the bat is look at what Turning Point did right after Charlie died. They tried to say that he wasn't abandoning the Israel cause. We have texts and testimony and video from his fucking podcast to show otherwise. His exact words are, right? I have no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Jewish donors are playing into every stereotype. And then they begged him not to do that. Having Tucker Carlson on, he was considering Candace. And they were like, please. The only reason he didn't is because they begged him not to. You can see the texts. The first text back is like, please do not have Candace on. Because we know she doesn't like Israel either. And you got to stop talking about that. First thing they did, dude, Jesse, first thing they did was try to deny that that was ever even the case. They lied and said that Charlie? Leaving the Israel cause. What are you talking about? They're like, here's him on his podcast a week ago. Oh, that was a bit. He did get a little heated, but he does that sometimes. What about the text messages? What text messages? I have his phone. There's no text messages. Here's a screenshot that was sent to me by somebody who was in the text message. Oh, that. I didn't know you were talking about that. Oh, that. He was venting. He's venting. He was venting. Oh, so you guys didn't lose millions of dollars in donations from Jewish donors? I mean, we did. Oh, and they're all back now because you're denying that Charlie did that and sucking Israel's circumcised dick? Yeah, I mean, they are all back and we're getting tons more money and we made like well over a year's budget in 4 months, but it doesn't track, Jesse. If he is alive and running Turning Point, he also says that. He says that that's why Erica became CEO right away and took over the leadership. He goes, it doesn't make sense unless Charlie's alive and pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Oh, he's pulling the strings? So he, in his infinite wisdom, decides to deny everything that he'd been saying for the last few months. Deny the biggest moral problem that he had with, like, the money that was coming into Turning Point, saying, I will not be bullied, things like that. I won't be bullied by Israel. Texting his security people saying, I think Israel is going to kill me tomorrow. That kind of shit, dude. You think he planted those texts because that's what it would have to be. Like, I'm sorry, Jesse. Like, I think you're a good guy, and I think your intentions are good, but I also think that you convinced yourself of this. I don't think, like, here, look at this. I just happened to pause it here. He doesn't make that face very often. I've been watching him for a little bit, and to me, that face reads as a person who's not confident with what he's saying and maybe feels a little bad about it, honestly. I'll let him explain, because he goes to another YouTuber who kind of shows the mechanism and he replicates, like, the movement of Charlie's shirt, and he even uses a prosthetic to show how the blood effect could have been achieved. Let's oh shit, wrong button. My bad, y'all. I'll let him ruminate a little bit.
His shirt deformation show a directed blast across his chest with the wave peeking around his neck. So the blast comes from here, and it's aimed this way, and you see his whole shirt come up as if there's a blast underneath the shirt.
As if there's a blast underneath the shirt. Mm-hmm.
And he's got this whole, like, cocky confidence about it too. Like, the micro expressions say, I'm not confident. The macro expressions and the chest puffing, he's got this whole, like, dude, I don't like it, man. He's got this, like, I've got it all figured out. I'm not crazy. I'm just ahead of the curve, Candace will be talking about this next week, kind of fuck. Look at that. Now it's on the macro expressions here with the smug confidence. And that's the part that kind of pisses me off about it. like I said, I think that Jesse thinks that he's being sincere. I also think Jesse is smart enough to convince himself that this is correct, because he knows that if he makes a hardcore fucking series of videos about it, people will be invested. How many views do we have here? How come I can never find the motherfucking view? Okay. 86K, and he has 600,000. Okay, I don't know how that compares, but we're not going to get into it right now. I'm just going to let him do his thing.
Just like that, actually.
So let's watch. So you see that, right?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like this strange ripple through his.
I'm going to go forward a little bit to save you from that sound again. I've explained all of that in another episode, and I actually agree with what Jimmy Dore is saying right now. And Jesse's kind of cocky ridicule attitude about criticizing and correcting, so to speak, something that he himself believed a matter of like 2 weeks ago, it's just rubbing me the wrong way.
His shirt.
Again, this is all assuming that we are trying to solve the same mystery. How Charlie was killed, or how Charlie and his team made it look like he was killed, okay? So now I want to show you this little number, okay? So this is, of course, a very talented makeup and effects artist named Mike Makash, who is an Emmy Award-winning makeup effects artist. And let me just show you why we're watching this right here, because again, we are trying to recreate how they would have done this to demonstrate whether or not it's.
Is also acting like this is a mic drop moment. Like hey guys, I didn't know if you guys knew this, but movie special effects, practical effects artists can simulate a realistic gunshot wound. They do it for movies all the time. Did you guys know that? I'm from California. So, if you didn't know, that's where they make movies. So it's something I happen to know, but like that, of course fucking people know that. We didn't think they really shot people in the movie. Regardless of how real it looks, we figured, Jesse, that, when it's not CGI and it looks real, that's probably some cool thing that some guy figured out how to do to make it look real. We figured that, Jesse. Thank you, though, for the insight.
It's possible.
I'm Mike McCash, and this is Stan Winston's School of Character Arts. Welcome to my course, Blood Effects, Rig, Apply, and Shoot. Blood effects are used in a variety of types of shows. In this course, the techniques that I will be showing are not just what's good for the hobbyist, and it's good for the pro alike. Basic of the basic things like a syringe, all the way up to highly tricky pressure pots. So it's good for the hobbyist, and it's good for the pro alike.
Okay, so what you had there was that's commonly known as a 10-pound fire extinguisher. It's called a 10-pounder because it holds 10 pounds of chemical, and those are pressurized to 195 psi. Now, see, I actually do know that because I used to be a fire equipment technician, and I would fill those fuckers all day long. Don't let your kids do that job, ever. There's nothing about it that's worth it.
Okay, here's what we're going to cover in today's course. Starting out with materials and equipment. We're also going to discuss bladder types and construction from start to finish. We're going to do a full application in today's course, and we're going to talk about flow of blood versus spraying blood. Once application is complete, we're going to go over actor direction and everything that leads up to the bleeding.
I'm gonna let him get to the end of like his point here, but when he gets to the end of his point, I'm gonna tell you about another problem I have with just the whole logic of it. The whole like why Jesse's theory makes no fucking sense, even though he's like super confident that it does.
And finally, we're going to act out the death scene or the blood gag so you can all see it.
So yeah, even with the 18 and over disclaimer thing on YouTube, they have to put it in some weird turquoise sepia colored black and white thing because it's fake blood.
Why I love blood effects is because it's the one thing you can do on set that everybody on the crew looks forward to. It's that on-set stress.
Look at him, he's winding up for some fucking snarky shit to say. By the way, I like Jesse, and Jesse, I'm from the south side of Chicago, and I've been in a few fights in my day, and I can hold my own, and Jesse would beat the shit out of me in a fight. He's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. That's like magic. Like if you're a normal person who's been in like a fair amount of street fights and pretty good at it, like you're nothing at all compared to a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy. It's like it's cheating almost. It's like a cheat code for fighting.
That it's probably the highest amount of stress you're going to feel on set, but when you do it and it comes out correct and you get a standing ovation, or even one person clapping in the background, you feel like you've done something great.
This seems like the right time for me to point out that I realize I have no chance of monetizing this video.
Yeah, no shit. That's why you go to Rumble, boy. Hold on. Here we go.
With the blood effect built into it, okay? And so if you're going to do this, you have to have that in place in advance. Now, on an unrelated side note,
It's talking about it's like a piece of skin. It's like a little soft little piece of skin that they blend into your actual skin to make it look like it's part of you,
except totally related,
to cover the hose.
Charles McClinton Wilson is a very talented documentarian and a very and is that one. And I showed you what website it's.
So now I was going to point to a bunch of images where the one side of Charlie Kirk's neck looks weird. Okay, do you guys put all your pictures on your social media, all the ones that you take, like you go to a concert or vacation or whatever, and you know that you're going to put those photos up on your Facebook or whatever, your Instagram. Do you put every single one you take up there? Or do you look weird in some of them? Does it not represent what you actually look like? Just asking.
It's on, just so you know, I did not doctor this. That seems to be the side of the neck that Charlie was shot on. And unless I am confused, that does look like there is a big part of the neck that.
Okay. Problem with this. Again, when he's done with this, I'm going to tell you a problem with the logic of this, but I'm going to pick apart the actual, what he's saying right now. So he's saying that this looks like a prosthetic with a hose under it because his neck looks weird. Okay, if that's what it is, Jesse, then why does the hose, because the hose would have to come from down under the shirt, right? There's nowhere else for it to hide. Not hiding it in his hair. So it has to come from down under the shirt and then up the neck here, right? That's what you're saying? Then why does it extend like 3 inches past where the wound actually is? That's not how those things work. The blood comes out of the end of the hose. There's not a hole in the hose 3 inches past its termination, because this is the part that mostly looks weird, and the wound was down over here. We've all talked about that, how it couldn't have hit the C1 or the C2 vertebrae. It had to hit like the C5 or the C6 at the angle that it was allegedly at, because it hit right here, not over here, like fucking touching his chin. You don't see the problem with that, Jesse? Or are you convincing yourself? Like, yeah, his neck looks fucking weird. It does kind of look like there's a hose under there. If there's a hose under there, why does it end after the wound? That's not how it works.
I don't know. Looks kind of big. You know what I mean? But we can do this together, okay? We can do this all together.
Somebody clip that and fucking send it to him, please, because I want to do it together. Yeah, his neck looks weird there too, dude. You know? He was pretty stressed out, by all reports, over the Israel shit. Maybe he was, you know, indulging in whatever way Charlie Kirk indulges. Maybe he has some extra cupcakes after dinner. You know? Maybe he has a beer. You know? But he's in his 30s. He's not... With his lifestyle, there's only a limited amount of physical activity you can get. You're on airplanes and sitting doing debates all fucking day, you know, going to meetings for your giant company. Yeah, maybe he was chubbing up a little. His neck looks a little saggy there. Do you guys see the hose? I don't.
Am I seeing things? Or does the side
I think you're convincing yourself to see things. Yes, Jesse, respectfully.
Side of his neck where he's going to get shot appear to be extremely swollen? I mean, look at this. Look at that jawline. It doesn't exist.
Yes, it does. This is a clear jawline, dude. You're at a 3/4. You're at a 3/4 angle. What do you mean it doesn't exist? It's in shadow here, so it's blended into the other shadow a little bit. But unless you're looking at a tiny picture, that's a slightly chubby guy's jawline.
It straight up does not exist. It is so swollen on that side. Now look at this though. On the other side, very strong jawline.
I'm pretty sure that is from the same lighting angle too. So like the shadow is going away from him and it's gonna... Jesse, come on, guy.
No indication of a grapefruit under it.
And I want to point out, in this picture, he has less of a jawline than either one of the ones from the other side where he got shot, Jesse. Like, just the shit you're showing me doesn't even line up.
Skin. Look at them compared. There seems to be something over there, but only on one side. And that happens to be the side that he is going to get shot in. Last one, look at how strong.
Sorry, dude. I'm just not seeing it.
His jawline is on the left picture and on the right.
Like, there's a crease in his neck there? Are you saying that that's where it is? Because, like, that is kind of where the wound was. But in every other picture, like, even in this one, if you want to say there's a hose, the weirdness goes all the way up to his fucking chin bone, dude. That's not how that mechanism works.
There very much seems to be something different over there. Now, adding a couple more to demonstrate that on another day.
Now, this professional photograph where he's looking directly at the camera, you can see his jawline clearly. Yes, that's, like, what the fuck, dude?
His neck looks normal.
I am starting to get a little mad.
Every single other day that I looked at, his neck looks normal, except for 9/10. See? On the right side, where he is going to be getting shot, it's normal every other day. And then when you compare it here, on the left side, totally normal. And it's not one picture, it's all of the pictures. Every single picture.
And you can tell all of these pictures are for sure from that day because it's the only time he ever wore a white shirt. Like, this one looks fine, right? This one looks fine to me. This one, neck is a little weird. Neck's a little weird in this one. It's not really, but slightly in this one. So for me, it's 2 out of 5. You have weird pictures sometimes, dude.
That I looked at from 9/10, the right side of his face
let's
and neck
skip
are.
ahead. You guys get it. Okay, so that's the mechanism. This is a kid, what's his name? Jordan Henshaw, who conducts these experiments in his own room trying to replicate the effects of what we saw Charlie Kirk do.
The idea is that it will give you more power.
I want you guys to take a look at that hose right there. Okay? How big is that hose? Just look at the size of that hose and burn it into your brain.
Mike McCash was basically there, I think. We have his voice, we have his face, we have his beard, and we have a little thing on Charlie's back.
Dude, that's not even, look at the nose. That's not even close to being the same thing. So he's saying now that that special effects guy that we saw earlier is this white bearded guy who's kind of lingering around after the fact. Because they both have a beard. Like, that's not the same nose. Maybe, okay, it could be a prosthetic. He's good at that, but... Like, he's claiming to be the brother of a super famous pastor. Like, I feel like somebody would be able to call that out if it wasn't the thing.
It's exactly like the connection between the blood bladder and the hose, and the air pressure hose, in the exact same spot as it is in his...
Okay, so the picture he's showing us here, dude, he's saying that this here, this little wrinkle in Charlie's shirt is the fitting for the pump, I think, to propel the expellant gas out and shoot the blood. You notice where it is? It's on the wrong fucking side. It's pointed this way over his right shoulder. He got shot on the left, Jesse. Are you serious, dude? Like, it doesn't even, your big gotcha is on the wrong fucking side. And you just spent 5 minutes talking about the different sides of his fucking body.
His tutorial on...
Like, this is embarrassing, dude.
...online.
Look at that. Look at that. Okay.
Oh, would you look at that? Gotcha. Unless you're a retard, of course. You know that that's a quick connect for a quick release air pump to shoot the blood out of Charlie's neck because he faked his death.
Now, I have not gotten into this yet because I can't prove who this is, but this right here is supposedly Butch Hibbs. Okay? Except, I think most people agree that is not Butch Hibbs. Butch Hibbs is different. We're going to get into that later, but okay, look at this is in the example that he gave. Okay, this is the connection that's going to go to the blood bladder, that's going to get pumped through when it's necessary. This is a photograph of Charlie. Okay, that day. And that's not the last time we're going to be looking at hoses on him, I don't think. Now, here's another test that Jordan Henshaw did to try to recreate the initial impact. Check this out.
Okay, fuck that sound. Sorry about that. And Jesus Christ, I'm sneezing. I'm pretty sure that's just a kid blowing a paintball gun with with no ammo in it up his shirt. I'm gonna let Jesse talk so I can recover from this fucking rebellion that my entire respiratory tract is doing.
Look at that. Look at that, dude. I mean, that is just that one right there. Now,
So, Jesse, the thing that we're saying happened, which is the shaped charge, also lets out a big puff of air very quickly and would do the same thing. It's like your gotcha. I'm not even sure that the pump that expels the blood even does that. Like, why would there be that much exhaust? You would only need a small amount of air, and the air wouldn't even show up until after the blood already started spurting. Like, that action, yeah, dude, that action, if they're using this pump and that air comes out because it's the air from the pump, then that would happen when the blood starts flowing. The blood doesn't start flowing, Jesse, until almost a full second after we hear the shot. It's like 0.95 seconds or something like that. It's pretty close to 0.94. It's like almost a full second after we see the shot, or after we see the impact and the shirt doing what that shirt does, that we actually see the blood. So if your theory is that that's the air from the pump expelling the blood out of Charlie's neck, it's way too late, or the shirt movement happens way too early for that to be what it is. Again, like, some of this I'm actually realizing right now, like that if that was the air from the pump, it wouldn't, the timing wouldn't work. And some of this I already realized, but it's like I'm realizing now that literally every single point of what he's saying is like, you could just show pretty easily with logic that it's false. Oh, and I never told you my problem with the logic before, which is Charlie's wearing a white shirt. Sure, you can just say that's circumstantial. But if Charlie was going to fake his death with like being shot, why the fuck would he do it like this? And like, the co-conspirator would, like, the shooter kid would have to be a co-conspirator. You know, like, if you're gonna fake your death, if you're like one of the most honest people on earth, and you decide you're gonna lie to everybody for the rest of your life and live a lie for the rest of your life for some reason, because your company did some fucky financial stuff, I guess, and you're afraid Israel doesn't like you and might kill you anyway. If you're gonna fake your death for that stuff, despite all your religious scruples, if you're gonna fake your death, why the fuck would you do it like that? If you're going to say, I'm going to get shot in public and then everybody will see me die, why would you do it, again, after getting the co-conspirator shooter to get up on the roof and, get arrested and go to jail for the rest of his life and possibly, executed? Why would you do it like that? Why would you make it a 30-06 in the neck with no exit wound and like a square hole that doesn't start bleeding for a full second? Why would you do it? Why would the fuck would you do it that way, Jesse? I'm just asking. Because that pump, that blood, when you do it your way with the movie magic and the pump and the fake blood and the prosthetics, when you do it that way, the blood can only come from the exact specific spot where you want it to because you put it there. There can't be a fuck up like it was supposed to come out of his chest, but it came out of his neck instead. We fucked up. Absolutely not. That's not the way it works. So if he was going to kill himself, Jesse, I ask you this: why on earth would he do it in such a fucky and unbelievable way? And why would they tell so many lies about the actual, like, what actually happened? Oh, he had a neck of steel and blah, blah, blah. Why would they tell those lies? Why? That doesn't make sense to me, Jesse. You got some splaining to do. You know what I'm saying?
we are going to close this out with three things that we're going to look at real quick. Okay. So this is 10 minutes before the shot is taken. Okay. I'm going to resize this a little bit so you can see the whole entire thing. Okay. 10 minutes before the shot is taken.
We're taking this country back, everybody. I'll tell you what.
The squib is the hose and the squib are underneath his shirt, where everybody thought that.
Okay, he's not saying it's a pump. He's saying it's a squib. A squib is a tiny explosive that you can detonate with electricity, and it would be, in this case, what would be used to expel the blood out. Again, a squib is an explosion, so the explosion would have to happen at the same time as the blood, and that's not what we see. The wind inflates his shirt almost a full second before we see the blood, so it can't be the squib.
The microphone was, in my theory, not a statement of fact, but in my theory, what you are looking at right here is a hose and a squib, and you can actually even see, you'll be able to see.
That doesn't even make sense, dude. How could that be? The hose is up, right? What he was selling to us, and I did watch this whole video. What he was, I can tell you, now I'm going to go back and watch it again later. But what he was selling you was that there was a little hose that either came over his shoulder or under his armpit with a squib on the other end of it, a tiny explosive that you can detonate remotely to expel the blood out. And I'm realizing this now, too. I'm going to back it up. Let me just check what time we're at. We're at 1831. So we're at 1831 now, and that's where we're going to go back to. But let me just go back to where he was showing that thing on the back of Charlie's shirt. Where did it go? I'm just trying to scroll.
See it in a second. Doing this because I'm giving commentary.
Let me pause it. Forgive me, guys, because I want to point this out. It is important here. Because okay, there's his weird neck. There's his black shirt, by the way, at a different event. Come on, dude. Forgive me. No, it was before. Is that it? No. Where is this goddamn thing, dude? Come on.
How they would have done this. Subscribe to the channel. You basically build.
Oops. I'm sorry for all the silence right now. I'm just trying to find the one.
And I showed you what website jumps right off the page. That together happens to be the side that he is going.
I'm just trying to find the one where they're showing the back of his fucking shirt. Because what it says there is that the indent, in the mark you see in his shirt is a quick connect for an air hose. Squibs don't use that. A pump would use that, but a squib doesn't use that. A pump would be big, and it would be, I don't think it would work, fast enough for a convincing gunshot wound. Okay, dude. You know what? You guys can just scroll back in this video. Nobody's watching it live fucking anyway, so just scroll back in this video if you want to see it. I'm not looking for it again. I'm wasting time, and I have to pee. I've had to pee for quite a while now.
Hill. How you feel now? You sure?
Wait.
I'll look.
Yeah.
We'll see it in a second. Watch this.
Let's get started. God bless Utah. Yes, sir.
Look at that. Does that look like a microphone, guys?
Yes, it does, Jesse.
Does that look like a microphone?
Okay, let me clarify. Let me clarify, because I don't know if maybe Jesse wasn't paying attention to the John Bray presentation. He said he did. Hold on. He said he did, but as you know, and as has been verified, that is a Rode, whatever their lavalier mic is called. It's like a Pro something, and it's like a square. It's basically like an 1.5 by 1.5 square. It's usually worn on the outside of the shirt and flat against the chest, but anomalously, he was told by his AV crew to wear it sideways, where like the edge is against his chest, so it's sticking out, and to wear it under his shirt. So it's going to be like a big weird looking bump. And then what Jesse's, I think, probably going to say is a hose. Again, this whole thing is on the wrong side of his body again, by the way, Jesse. It's all on the wrong side. He gets shot on the other side, Jesse. I think he's going to claim that this line in the shirt here is the hose running maybe that way around. I don't know what the fuck he's saying is happening here. This hose is anywhere that there's a weird looking wrinkle, basically, according to Jesse. But that's exactly how it would look if you had a 1.5 inch square lavalier mic placed improperly under your shirt, sticking out, 90 degrees from your chest. That's exactly how it would look, Jesse. So yeah, it looks exactly like a microphone. And that looks exactly like the magnetic clasp that is used for that microphone.
Is that an exploding microphone?
Yep. That's a way better theory.
Okay.
Look at
all
him.
the
Look at
people
the
that told me
boner.
they would die on this hill. I'll die on this hill.
I still will die on this. Like, I'm not 1,000% sure, but it is a very convincing theory. It's the most complete theory so far, and it's 1,000% more convincing than the shit you're shoveling at me, Jesse. And I know you're a smart guy, so that's why I'm getting a little mad, because it's hard for me to believe that you believe this and don't see the inconsistencies in your own logic.
How you feel now? You sure?
I feel a little mad.
Are you starting to question like if your life?
How do
is...
I feel?
When I hear it, I get like a little mad because I don't understand it, and I get a little irritated because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. How do I feel?
I gotta be honest. What you're saying to me makes me want to fight you a little.
Just a little, and metaphorically, because you would win easily.
Is on the line. You still comfortable that no chance that Jesse cracked this thing?
No, there's
and that right there.
There's no fucking chance. By the way, Jesse, the only thing you're doing here is pointing to research that other people did. The kid who blew a fucking paintball gun up his shirt in the room and put the hose thing convincingly in his neck. You didn't get it, Jesse. That kid did. If what you're saying is correct, that kid got it right, not you. Secondly, it's clearly a very bad theory, and I'm just trying to be a little bit nicer because I'm getting mad and I get pretty fucking mean, and I don't want to be mean to you, Jesse. I just think it's a very bad theory, and I think you've wasted a lot of time on it and should come to your senses.
Is a hose and a rig that is going to go off at a designated time. That right there. And he's about to adjust it, by the way.
Yeah, because if it's an 1.5 inch square of plastic sitting perpendicular to his chest, it's probably going to, as he's bending over, do weird things, and he's going to have to readjust it to its original position. Gotcha. Right, Jesse? Like,
Get started. God bless Utah. Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that this is happening to you because I like you. And it's, in my opinion, so obviously wrong that it hurts me.
What do you guys think now?
I think this is a
Just
bullshit
saying, dude.
theory.
I'm just saying. Now, if you're looking for...
Stop asking me smugly what I think now, Jesse, because I'm going to say things like this.
You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
I'm sorry, that one was harsh.
Some more provable scientific evidence of this thing,
Okay.
I would direct you in the direction... What? Direct you in the direction of the playlist that is now housing this series, because I added... Okay, if you look here, right here, can you see it? Yes, you can. Under there, the another one of the videos that says, "Did Charlie Kirk trick the world?" Right there, that there was a shot taken from the roof, but the shot was shot into the trunk of the SUV that was of the. So this is where he fell, and they're saying, "Is this a landing mattress that he fell on?" And I want everybody to watch it real quick, and then. Let's see. Now, another thing, though. Remember everybody was talking about that disappearing chair? And I thought that was so weird. I never even looked at it hard because I'm like, that's obviously AI. What I never considered is that it might have been AI created by the team that is trying to pull this off, right? But watch this real quick.
And they put the AI onto people's cell phone videos? What the fuck are you talking about, Jesse?
Now, I'm not going to lie. I feel kind of weird showing this because...
Okay, and he's going to pontificate about how... who is that? What's his...
I mean...
I can never remember this motherfucker's name. I've heard it 10,000 times. Andrew? No. Nope. What's his name?
Like, in the outside chance that, in my mind...
Frank Turek. He's saying that Frank Turek doesn't look scared. I don't know, dude. Looks pretty scared to me.
If I'm wrong, I hate showing this footage, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Okay.
I'm like, I just spent, is it an hour? Holy fuck. I just spent like an hour and 15 minutes proving you wrong piece by piece, but okay.
First of all, let me show you one other thing. So Charlie goes down, right? Now,
He's saying that's
Turek,
a mattress. It has no give at all.
if
First off, it's
my
just a
theory's
platform,
correct-
dude. They had different platforms back there. Have you done the goddamn research, buddy? Like, it's just annoying. He's like, oh, this, I can never unsee that. He doesn't look scared to me. What is this?
Blowing you up, right? And whenever I started talking about Fort Huachuca, all
Oh, okay. And so now he's saying, basically, Fort Huachuca has been involved in a shit ton of movies. Erica Kirk was in a movie that was shot at Fort Huachuca. She's on the fucking poster. So he's saying that that's like the movie magic connection to fake Charlie Kirk's death. And again, the most honest public figure I've ever seen in my fucking life just decides, the man who preached honesty in his 300 plus public engagements every year, who's like, wants to be remembered as courageous in his faith, and constantly, pretty much every single time he spoke publicly, talked about the importance of honesty, decided to fake his death because of some weird financial shit and because he was afraid of Israel because he was leaving them. And then now he's running it from behind the scenes, and the first thing they do is put Israel's uncircumcised cock right back in their mouth. That says to you that Charlie faked his death to run it from behind the scenes, and that's why Erica's CEO right away. Dude, it's just like, it's the floppiest fucking easy to pick apart logic that you're better than this, Jesse. That's what I'm saying. You're better than this. I'm going to get to the end of Jesse's video and then take a brief intermish so I can pee in a toilet. But let's get through it.
of a sudden, everybody went crazy.
And he keeps doing that whole like...
I mean, I'm just saying, dude. Okay.
I'm sorry, dude, but the part that I probably wouldn't have even done this if he didn't keep going like... So how do you feel now? Do you still think do you still believe your retarded theory? Or do you believe my genius fucking theory? Like that whole fucking vibe about it is really probably what pushed me over the edge to do what I'm doing right now. And I don't like that I'm doing it, but I have to do it.
Okay. Yes is the answer to your question. Well, what'd you ask? You were asking if I wanted to get up on my chair and sea walk around at this moment.
That's if you don't know, if you're from a better part of the country, I'm from the south side of Chicago. Sea walk is crip walking, which is a walk that only members of the Crip gang are allowed to do, and they do it in celebration. So he's crip walking around the room because he's so fucking positive that he's right about this.
Where I know that all of you who were calling me crazy at this moment are now going, oh my fucking God. It's like,
no, dude, I think that you are smart enough. You're like at that perfect, like above average intelligence to be smart enough to convince yourself of shit that doesn't make sense.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Now start to think about what this actually means. And now start thinking about all of their behavior again. Now, after.
Yeah, let's think about their behavior again. Yeah, Erica Kirk. That's why Erica Kirk wore sparkles. That's why she doesn't seem like as sad as she should. That's why she took over the company right away, because Charlie's actually running it from behind the scenes. What, dude? Again, I ask you, let's just go back to the moment it happened. If Charlie Kirk's faking his death, and that's all movie magic and fake blood and everything, why the fuck wouldn't you just do one clean through the chest? It's the first time he ever wore a white shirt to a public event. I think that's what the shaped charge was supposed to do, blow a hole through his chest. Why would you say it's a 30-6? Again, Tyler Robinson would have to be a co-conspirator in his scenario. That means Tyler Robinson risked death because he could have been shot right away. He could have got the death penalty. He's going to get life if there is a trial because, they are not budging from that narrative. They caught him in 33 hours after all. He confessed after all in writing, several times within 24 hours of the event. He turned himself in, for fuck's sake. So he's a co-conspirator. He's just going to go to jail for life to save Charlie Kirk, who he publicly talked shit about constantly. Yeah, makes total sense, Jesse. Makes total sense. How do I feel now?
After this next segment, now go watch episode 1 again.
Okay, I'll go watch it, bro.
Go watch episode 1 again. Okay? Because now you have your eyes open where it's like, holy shit, this might really be What happened?
Negative.
Now go watch episode 1, where we're talking about everyone's behavior. And then in episode 3, we're going to be doing the same thing. Now,
If you want to go that route, maybe I'll do it on the next episode where I'll pick apart your argument about their behavior too, because like literally you're just, even the shit that you're showing us isn't even consistent with itself, let alone your theory. Half the shit you showed me about the hose coming up his body is on the wrong side of his fucking body.
funny thing is, I made episode 2. What you are now going to see episode, like the next episode you'll see will be episode 3. But when I filmed it, it was intended to be episode 2. And when I started looking at all of this stuff, I was like, you know what? I am going to seal this with episode 2. And that's what you're looking.
Sealing it is not what I think you did, Jesse. I think you just, made a bigger pile of bullshit for us to discard. And Jesse, if somebody does end up clipping this and you end up seeing it, I like you, dude. You're better than this. I don't want to fight you. I am being mean right now because I had several delicious Coors Lights, but which is also why I have to pee. So I am being really mean, but that's just because you could beat me so bad physically.
Looking at right here, because now, thank you, Nate Valhalla, who told me I can't even look at any of this if you can't show me how they did this. And
Okay, I am interested to see if he's referring to Valhalla VFT, who's an ex-Green Beret. And I'm interested to see if Nate is on board with this or not. That's pretty interesting. If he is, then I would say he's suspect too, or just dumb.
I went, all right, I'm going to switch.
But dumb guys don't really get to be Navy or Green Berets usually. I mean, they got to at least be, 10 points above average.
The order. Now, going here, first of all, again, this to me does not appear to be someone who's afraid. And
what about that says that to you, dude? I don't know. He's ducking, frowning. Like, what about, is he supposed to be is there supposed to be lines around his body indicating that he's shivering? I don't know what you want.
Again, he did great. Assuming that I'm right, obviously none of this is for sure.
None of it is even convincing, dude.
But now I'm just going to speak in absolutes because that's how I'm thinking about it. Doesn't mean it's actually absolute, okay? When I watched this back, the very first time, I was like, he is definitely not in on it. And because specifically, he did such a good job of that is how a person would react. Didn't see a close-up on his face, though. This is not a poker face that is selling.
Way too much time on that. Let's keep going.
There.
Okay.
Because
he's saying that Charlie Kirk landed on a mattress. This is a platform here. This is something that's completely level with the platform. It doesn't give, dude. It's just a different platform, buddy. And I'm pretty sure it's one of those black, suitcase-looking things that were lying around.
Looks like a hose.
Which were hard plastic. Oh, okay. So now he's saying
and
that
if it went up his back.
He's saying there's a fucking hose you can see. Let's see.
And then under his armpit, right? And then under his armpit, and then under.
Okay, the last time he showed Charlie from the back, showing, oh, that's a hose, it was literally on the other side of his back. And it was at an angle where it would have had to go over his right shoulder. And then I don't know where it would have went from there to end up, on the left side of his neck. But now it's over here. Now it's over there. Every weird wrinkle in Charlie's shirt is a fucking hose, dude. And none of them are in the same spot even. It's just stop with the shit.
Under his shirt. Here we go.
Brown-shirted guy.
Okay, and we all have questions about the lack of blood. Sorry. We all have questions about the lack of blood, dude. That's still probably the main question in my mind because there was an initial huge surge of blood, and having much experience with hurting myself, I know that there should be a visible trail of blood. It just should have been pouring down, unless they already had a T-shirt stuffed in there or something, or somebody's hand or something to stem the flow of blood so that it didn't leave a trail you could see from a fucking helicopter, because it would be a lot, dude. It would be a lot with a wound like that. That is my biggest question still. And that's the best point of evidence that you have in this, by the way, is the lack of blood that was visible. You could still see some over some guy's hands, stuff like that. There's some on the stage afterwards. But that's your strongest point here, is the lack of visible blood. I'll give you that.
No blood trail.
Rushes Charlie.
No blood trail. And then this is where the paramedics come over, try to help them. And they're like, nah, it's cool. We got it.
Just been shot. Two, Charlie.
No blood at all. None. No blood at all.
To be fair, the white balance in the lit part of this shot here is pretty fucking blown out, and it's a pretty wide shot, and it's potato quality. So it is possible that that's lost in there, like this little thing here, that could be blood. Like, they kind of came this way, right? So it looks like there is kind of like a little bit more of a darkness there. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just seeing things. But again, I agree with you on the suspicious lack of blood.
Ask your paramedic friend if that's possible.
Charlie's SUV, jumping into the back, proving that he's part of the security team.
Now, one thing to consider is, are there any indications that they had additional distractions to make sure that they were able to unhook the...
Okay. And then he's just going to tell us about the old Jewish guy who instantly said, it was me. And then his pants fell down and they arrested him. And he said, I love child porn. Just thought you guys should know it's right there in my phone because I like to look at it. And then the other guy, like that weird schizophrenic hippie guy who's chanted USA, who I still have plenty of questions about that guy. But he's saying that those two guys, he's suggesting that those two guys were also in on it with Charlie Kirk and did their job as being distractions so that people would be looking at them and wouldn't be able to tell that Charlie Kirk was faking his death with movie magic. Like, have you said these things out loud to yourself, Jesse, in a way that's like just a little bit more bare bones and not colored up with your bias? Like, it's I don't want to say that you're being dishonest on purpose to get views and money because you know that it's a spicy subject. And it comes just at a time when other YouTubers and stuff like that are floating this theory. I saw people, and I know you did too, you motherfucker. I saw a lot of people making videos saying Charlie Kirk is alive. I intentionally did not click on them because I'm like, dude, first off, there's no fucking way. I know every fucking second of what happened. I've spent so much time on it. There's no fucking way. Also, there's also no fucking way because it's Charlie Kirk. So you're telling me, just the very premise of what you're telling me is that Charlie Kirk decided, hey, I'm in a pickle. You know what I'll do? Lie to everybody for the rest of my life and make the rest of my life a lie. Do you know Charlie Kirk? Are you familiar? That doesn't ring true to me. And I don't really see it as something that's possible. That's, I've spent goddamn near an hour and a half yelling at Jesse on Fire. Jesse, I'm sorry. Don't beat me up. I still think you're a good guy. I think your recent rise in fame and success might be influencing your ego to trick yourself into making something that you don't 100% believe, but are smart enough to argue for well enough to yourself that you've convinced yourself. I think you are a victim of your own intelligence, and I think you need to, somebody please fucking like link him to this or something, because a good friend, we're not friends. I don't know this man, but I like him. Again, I'm on his team. I'm trying to solve the Charlie Kirk thing with all honesty and earnesty. And this is a distraction that we don't need. It's like we don't need. You're wasting a lot of fucking time on it. And it's very easy for me at first glance to pull it apart. And if it's that easy for me, somebody smarter than me is going to do a much better job at it, dude. So don't discredit the movement. Don't waste our fucking time. And yeah, a good friend slaps you in the face when you need to be slapped in the face. And as my brother in Christ and my brother in trying to solve what happened to Charlie Kirk and aid Candace in the quest for justice for her best friend, which I think you are true in that, don't be tainted by your ego and the money that you're making now because your channel blew up. You know? Get back over here and get serious. That's all I'm saying.